Good morning, everybody. Save this to that group. I'm not sure if I'm sharing with people or not. Yes, I could. Standing in power. That doesn't seem to be related. Family reunion. That doesn't appear to be related. That might be it. I am discussing my marketing plan for the upcoming book launch. Uh, Deliver yourself from evil. Launch. Ooh, I'm discussing the marketing plan for the upcoming, good morning, everybody, launch of my first book, Deliver Yourself from the Evil. Share to a group. All right, so we're going to stop this. Okay, it's 10 o'clock. Let's get started. First of all, thank you guys for tuning in. I am discussing the marketing for my launch for my first book, Deliver Yourself from Evil. Uh, Although I may not sound like it, I'm super excited about this project. Um, I actually finished it in January, and I've been sitting with it to make sure this is the right time, um, and I'm confident that it is. I wanted to share um, that this is happening. The book will be out in January, and so there's several things that need to happen between now and then in order to ensure that the, the launch is successful. So one of the things that I have to do is answer some questions uh, from my team so that they can help put me in the best position uh, as as an author. So first question that they have is what will be the name? Actually, I'll just kind of put this out here. This says, please answer the following questions as plainly and honestly as possible. Releasing and marketing a book will naturally allow you to make new connections. Having these questions answered before the events and connecting with readers will allow your brand to be consistent across all boards. Additionally, answer these questions to assist the team in helping you create a brand as an author and organic marketing strategies for your project release. So here's the first question. What's the name of your company or brand that you're going to be launching for your life coaching business, and why? So the name of the brand is The Mindful Family. Um, Everybody that's connected to me on Facebook is familiar with this brand. Some people actually have no idea what my last name is because all they've seen is Chauncey of The Mindful Family on Facebook. That's intentional. I changed that when I decided to invest in myself maybe 2 years ago, so that as I engage with people and meet people for the first time, they become aware that there is a brand that I'm a part of that's coming. And so I call it the Mindful Family because I believe the reason why I've been able to move very quickly from the mindset I had 3 years ago, 2 years ago, when I was doing a normal Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 kind of thing, to where I am now, is through mindfulness. When I say mindfulness, I'm referring to practices, disciplines, devotions, and community that is aware, that is conscious, that is intentional about everything. Uh, and so I call that mindfulness. And the reason why it's the mindful family and not the mindful man or the mindful person is because I believe once you do the work of becoming mindful for yourself, you will naturally be in a much better position to have healthier relationships with your family, which I believe is the first vehicle God instituted for society uh, to produce um, um, people, citizens, stewards, managers for kingdom living. So it is a mindful family. That's the goal of the brand. What is life coaching for me? It is the process of assisting someone in becoming their authentic selves, um, assuming that rightful place in creation first, and then kingdom second. What specific areas will you specialize in, and why? I'm going to target um, people who are in early family development, early career development, early business development, and people who are creatives largely, just because for me, I've been a creative my whole life. It wasn't something that I chose, it chose me. But I have struggled to find insight and wisdom that was applicable for my particular perspective. And so that's a niche that I'm excited about. What colors do I prefer? I like uh, earth tones and root and what would we call them? I guess primary colors. Um, Red is a new color. Orange. I'm wearing orange today. Orange is a color for me that represents sacred. Sacred. I think that's important if you are going to assume your rightful place, whether it's in your family or your business or in your community. You have to have some idea of what the larger vision, what the larger plan is outside of yourself, and be moved to a position and a perspective that allows you to see not just uh, what interests you, but what interests the whole. And so that for me is a sacred perspective. So I would love to see an orange. I like green a lot because of the heart. Green is a heart color. It's a life color for me. It's a natural color. Um, So I'm not sure. It may need to be a choice between orange and green. I've never seen those two paired together. Um, I like purple um, because purple is a color of royalty. I think there are many competing values now, and so I would love to be able to partner with a purple. Um, but I'm not a stylist or fashion person, so I don't know how colors blend together and all that. Just for me, I just talk about colors in terms of how they make me feel and what they remind me of. So you guys will have to help me with that. Um, what do you feel is your responsibility to your community? Oh, great question. I have a very unique ability, and I think my father had this ability, and probably both of my grandfathers did too. I can see and discern very quickly what people's gifts and natural contribution abilities are for a community. Um, I am a natural. My Myers Briggs is ETNJ. Um, Becoming ENTF, but that's a new development. But all that to say, I'm a natural. My personality is natural CEO. And so part of what I believe a CEO has to be able to do very quickly is ascertain resources and where they exist within a team. Um, and so my role in the community, my responsibilities to the community, I believe, is to help leaders become leaders in various, excuse me, various endeavors, various positions, various organizations. Um, and some of those people um, are already in position, but because they either have not been recognized to be in that position or haven't learned how to speak from that place of authority. They are looked over and passed over and sometimes even ignored. I've seen it a lot. So that's the responsibility that I'm most excited about. How will you help people carry out this responsibility? um, Helping convey the work that I've had to do for myself. I am actually a natural introvert. The first time I took the Myers-Briggs personality test, I tested uh, introvert like to the extreme. And when that began to change, is it coincides when I began paying attention to who's around me and not just trying to take advantage of the situation, see what I could get out for me, but what I could give to the situation. My personality immediately began to shift from introvert to extrovert. Um, 1 second. I am about to lose power. 1 second. Okay. Excuse me. Coffee. By the way, I haven't even said where I am. I don't know if you guys know. I am a coffee shop uh, entrepreneur. Panera Bread used to be my spot, but now it's Atlanta Bread because Panera was struggling to figure out how to do all this social distancing and health codes in their small space. So Atlanta Bread is always wide open, and they love me here, and I love them. So that's where I am. How you guys doing? Where y'all at? I ain't even asked. Anyway, let me finish. How are you carrying out this responsibility? I am talking to friends and meeting with colleagues um, to share my vision, to hear what their vision is, and to collaborate on where those things overlap. That's kind of at the corporate level, at the CEO level. Underneath that, I have many, many, many friends who are talented, but have not taken leadership in their different organizations. And so they see themselves as artists or talent. And when I say talent, I'm not just talking about talent like singing or drawing or writing. Talent is uh, ability, special ability, human resources. Anything, any role you occupy, anything you do, anything you're the person that does for your organization, your talent. You don't think about it in those terms, but that's how I think about it because I come out of a world of performance and entertainment, so it's talent. Um, but I'm also um, helping friends who don't see themselves or haven't seen themselves at the top of their organizations begin to reimagine themselves and begin to develop a language that is appropriate for I don't necessarily want to say domination, but I'll say proper orientation. If that works for you, leadership, that that that's a more common term, but that's how I that's how I have been carrying this out. You know, what's so interesting for me and what's been really challenging for me is I've been my brand my whole life. The work that I'm about to go into as a brand is the same work that I've engaged in as a person since ever. And the hardest thing for me has been getting to the place where I accept as natural what it is that I'm supposed to be doing in the universe. I've always thought that I would have to kind of clamor and find and be discovered and be chosen and be picked. and, and what I hear God say to me is, I chose you before I made you. Uh, so I have spent this time uh, actually writing the book and this year sitting with the book, repeating to myself that what I am called to do is also what I love to do and what I'm great at doing, better than anybody that I know. Otherwise, I do something else because I have choice, right? So Uh, what are three things that you would like your readers and viewers to know about you? Number one has to do with the household in which I grew up. I grew up in a household that was very strict, very rigid, very conservative, and very loving. As a result, um, I push. I push myself. I push my dreams. I push my friends. I push my family. And so I am learning to extend grace, and it's very new. So it will be great for my readers and viewers to know about me is that I'm a work in progress, that I am learning how to listen, how to approach people with an idea, but develop my intention as we share and as we learn what it is about us that is purposed to for collaboration. Um, so that's a work again, it's a work in progress, but I am confident that there isn't a person who's going to find me that I can't help and that I can't reach. It doesn't exist. So that's one thing. Number two has to do with I I have become one of the most courageous people that I know. That may sound extremely arrogant, but it's also extremely accurate. So it is what it is. Um, I have not always been. This is also critical. I have become this courageous since 2016. And I guess the third thing that you should know has to do with how that happened. Third thing was I was counted out. I was told that I had gotten myself into a situation that I wouldn't recover from, and my life was going to end early because of that. Um, the only reason I'm here at all is because I knew better than that. Had I not known better than that, I wouldn't be here. So that's the urgency or the impetus, the force behind why all this has to happen now. Even though, of all the times I've ever lived and of all the spaces I've been in, I've lived in every major city in the United States, every power center. Of all of the places that I would want to launch from, Huntsville is not it. But I didn't choose it. It chose me. I was born here, I was raised here. My family lives here, and my mom's here, so I'm here, right? So it's happening from here. It is happening now, and uh, those three elements are necessary points. I think people who read my book, people who follow my brand, and people who watch my content need to understand about me. Um, because we're going places. And I want to see everybody get to where they're destined to be, not just where they're um, going to end up by default, right? List three scriptures, quotes, or models that speak to your individual morals and belief. There is a James Baldwin quote, and I'm not going to say it right because I don't know it like that. I know it. I know it here. I know it in a deeper place. It says, "Not everything that can be that is confronted can be changed, but nothing will change that is not confronted." That's James Baldwin. Probably my number one quote right now. Uh, Another one is, "I am convinced that nothing shall separate me from the love of God." That's Paul in Romans 8. It's my favorite chapter. I'll say another one. Uh, Genesis 1:26. Let us make man in our image and likeness. Uh, those are three. I could I could really go on, um, but I'll just say those three off the top. Um, so, what are your hobbies or special interests? I was born a musician. I was a musician before I could talk. I could hear music, still can. I can hear music, uh, recognize the key, recognize the chord progression, hear the melody, and go to an instrument and play it. I was like this before I took music lessons. That's just how I was made. So, music, playing music, singing music, teaching music, writing music. Uh, that's probably the first one. Second one is teaching. Teaching is huge for me. And it wasn't until I ended up at Boston College in front of undergraduates who had a totally different life experience than mine, from total different generation of mine, that I realized how powerful the gift of teaching really is. Always wanted to teach, never thought I would, and then I got a chance to teach, and it has changed my life. That's why I'm so excited about becoming a life coach, because I already know what's going to happen because I've seen it happen for my students. Um, the next hobby has to do with um, how can I say, helping people find their purpose, helping people live from their purpose. Coaching, I guess, is the third one. Uh, Helping my friends who are gifted and talented, but are also disenchanted or uh, affected by their past in such a way that they have forgotten, in my opinion, they've forgotten their greatness. So the third one is coaching. How do you spend your time when you're not at work? Now that's a good question, because where am I not at work? When am I not at work? Is a time is a great question. I would say um, I like to build community. It's my favorite thing to do. Anything that I'm anything that I'm doing when I'm not working is an attempt in some way to build community now. Because of the world we're living in now, most of that is virtual. So I am a social media hound. I don't know anybody that is engaged in social media as I am. Uh, and it's not for entertainment, it's not for escape, it's not for friends, it's not for popularity or any of that. I have friends all over. Everybody's spread, and so engaging in social media has allowed me to stay close to people that I care about. Uh, I've never been good at picking up the phone and calling you and saying, "Hey, how you doing? How you been? How your mom and them?" I've just never been that guy. I've always wanted to be that guy. If I see you, I'm gonna be like, "Oh my God, tell me everything." But if I don't see you, I'm gonna be like, "Ooh, I hope they're doing good." And I'll just think through. I'll go up the coast and cities that I live, and we'll kind of just think from Auburn all the way up to Boston. And I'll go through thousands of names in my head because my network is huge like that, and end up in LA, of course. Uh, but won't pick up the phone, won't do it. But I can do this, and all of a sudden be tapped into my network. So I love that. Uh, how did you create this project? I think I've already talked about that. Uh, I have this amazing writing coach. Oh my God, I have this amazing writing coach. Uh, Her name is Sharona, and she noticed we had a conversation when she moved back here about my change, and she really wanted me. I told her she'd written a book, and I told her I needed to write a book. Never written a book. I've tried to write books like my whole life, probably since I was like 5. Who's gonna write a book? What 5-year-old is gonna write a book? Now, if I had been 5 in this age, I would have been published at 3. I know I would have, but none of that existed when I was 5. So I've been trying to write a book since then, and finally, uh, working with her has helped me decide that this was the right time, and that of all of the subjects, and there are thousands that I could have written on, the first book needs to be about me and my journey as an instructional tool for coaching. What is it that happened for me? What practices did I engage in to get from where I was to where I am now? And how can I help someone who is also navigating a journey, how to move, how to engage, how to change your mindset in a way that will allow you to see your opportunities as opportunities and to lose your fear, because your fear is not a natural state for anybody created by God. It's not. What does the title mean to you? Deliver yourself from evil. Um, I did not expect to find what I found in the process of writing the book, which was that everything that had happened to me wasn't about anyone else or anything else except me. And so the book, Deliver Yourself from Evil, is about changing your perspective from outward to inward and to focusing on the only thing you have power and control over, and that's you. So the title very clearly states that rather than praying from some external source to change your life, right? I don't mean to make light of that, because I did that for a long time too. For until you know better, you don't do better. That's Maya Angelou. I know. I always thought it was external, and I could tell you, well, the reason why I'm not there is because the person who was going to help me do this didn't show up. The reason why I'm not this is because that opportunity, the people who said that they were going to sign me didn't, or the movie that I was supposed to be starring in didn't get funded. Everything's external. Everything that didn't happen happened because someone else didn't do something. And I actually held those positions concretely until I started doing the work for the book and realized that everything that I didn't have, everything I didn't rule over, is because of something that was inside me. And so that's what, for me, how I name that is evil. Everything that blocked me from assuming my rightful place is an evil. And so the title suggests that the power to change your circumstance doesn't lie with anything or anyone else. This whole election, this foolishness that everybody's engaged in right now, it's not going to have any impact on you becoming who you're supposed to be. Not for real. Not in real life. Not in real life. It should. But now, having said that, of course, I'm super excited that I voted. I'm super excited about that opportunity. That's a whole nother conversation. I can't do that right now. But I just need to footnote that. Um, Nothing outside of you is going to change you. Never has. Never will. What hope will it communicate? I think I've answered that already. You can change your life. And you're the only thing that can change your life. Now, okay, I'm not going to. Who do you believe will be most drawn to this project? I believe, first, the people who would probably be drawn to this project, people who know me. But far more important than that, because I am invoking this sacred language, deliver yourself from evil, I believe that people who come from a traditional faith background will be curious, because there's a change. I've taken the idea of the external, let the external change me internally. I've taken that idea, from the Lord's Prayer, and deliver us from evil. I've taken that language and changed it and said, you can deliver yourself from evil. You have the power to make changes for yourself. So I believe anyone who comes from or is familiar with this traditional belief system, this traditional thought process, this traditional prayer, will be really curious to know, wait a minute, can you do that? Can you in fact do that? And what are the implications of that idea if in fact you can? Well, then If you can't change yourself, you have no excuses for not changing. I think that's amazing. But that's just me. And I hope that's a whole bunch of other people. But I'm really confident that in this season and this time that we live in right now, uh, the idea that you don't have to wait on anyone to give you permission to become a better version of yourself is good news. That there is no authority, that there's no power, that there's no government that can stop you. Um, you you are made. You are made to reign, to win. You just are. That's why you're here. What do you hope this project does? I've just said that. What do you hope that this project does for those who use it? You become a better version of yourself and a witness that that is possible for others. What would you personally like to gain from releasing this project? I would love to build a community of people who are changing themselves for the better on a daily basis. I used to have a community like that. I've actually had a community like that in every state I've ever lived in, except Huntsville. Uh, I don't, in my adulthood, have a community of people who are, and when I say community, I want you to misunderstand. I know many people here who know their power and their ability in their rightful place, but I am not a part of an active community of people who live their lives this way. So that's what I'm hoping to get from releasing this project. And also, I think there will be certain people who will be interested in letting me coach them to show them how to do that, not just locally, but globally. As a believer, what role do you think spirituality plays? I've been talking about this the whole time. Until you learn to believe in your wholeness, it will never happen for you. Until you learn to believe in your deliverance, your wellness, your healing, it'll never happen to you. Until you learn to believe in your goodness, your grace, your happiness, it'll never happen. How will you handle working with individuals who don't share your same beliefs? Such a great question. Such a great question. Uh, it's the easiest thing to do in the world. At the core of every belief system is the hope that the power to change yourself is internal. I don't care what your belief system is. You believe that you can be a better version of yourself somehow. Uh, mo- Different belief systems differ as to what that process looks like, but the belief system is the same. That's kind of the overall message. The under message is I am so excited to work with people who believe differently than me. I believe that the only reason I even know what I believe is because most of my friends believe differently than me. Most of the people who I love the most are the people who are the most different from me. It has not always been. If you grow up in a city like Huntsville, you'd be hard pressed to have a community of people who believe totally different than you. I mean, even if people actually believe differently than you, they're not going to tell you that. That's a whole other conversation. So, as a result of that, the material that I provide is not based on any particular system. It's not even based on my system. That was part of what took me so long to write it. It took me a year to write this book, which is nuts. I started out, I think I had 54 chapters in the first draft, 70,000 words. In its final form, the book is 5 chapters and less than 20,000 words. That ain't never God. The book is designed to be read from beginning to end in 2 hours on a short flight because it's not about information. Everybody has all the information they'll ever need. Every sermon that you ever need to hear, you probably heard by the time you were 10, if you're a church person like me. This is not just a collection of words, thoughts, and ideas. It's deeper than that. It's deeper than that. And once my writing coach convinced me of that, I didn't have to engage in all this abstract conversation and just talk about what's true, what's real. How do you prefer to engage with others, person to person, one on one? Because of this pandemic that we're in now, I have modified that, and most of the work that I do now is virtual. I love Zoom meetings. I set up Zoom meetings with clients, with people that I'm teaching or coaching. I love the phone is a great substitute for one-on-one, person-to-person, or virtual Zoom meetings when there has been this initial contact. Most of the communication that happens between individuals does not come out of their mouths. That's just a fact. Body language, facial expression, mood, tone. Um, that's where the information is. And so the communication medium has to be able to provide for that. Uh, One of the great losses of not being able to be in person is that you can't hug your friends, you can't always see everybody smile, but we can't be stuck there, right? We're in the world that we're in, we're in the situation that we're in, and we've got to make the best of it. It's not going to change anytime soon. I don't think it's going to change in 2021 at all. We'll be social distancing until at least 2022, if not 2025. What first impression do you hope? And I only have two more questions. I really appreciate those of you who are taking time to talk this to watch this with me. And I can't wait. Since I finished this, I'm watching myself because I'm like, oh my God, what did I say? What first impression do you hope to make when you meet others? Uh, I want other people to be inspired. I want people to be excited, but not about me. I want people to be inspired and excited about what I believe about them and what in turn they can begin to believe about themselves and then begin to manifest for themselves. Finally, what do you hope they learn about you in their first encounter with you? I am your biggest advocate. I was about to say cheerleader, but it's a difference between being a cheerleader and an advocate. Um, and just if I can, for a minute, let me just say, I think if we had been focusing on advocacy instead of cheerleading, a lot of the foolishness that we find ourselves in right now would have never happened. But because the market suggests that you attract more people as a cheerleader than you do as an advocate, I think most of us have become cheerleaders. And so when the game can't be played, we have no purpose. And that's it. Thank you guys so much. I really, really appreciate this space and this time. And I hope if there's a way that I can partner with any of you on anything you're doing, I'm sure everybody's doing something great. Um, if I can partner with you, if I can collaborate with you, I look forward to it. And wish you a great day, great week, and a great fall. Take care. God bless. See you soon.